Welcome in. That music can only mean one thing. You are crossing the bridge. Bridging civil tension right here, 21.6 The Net every Friday morning. Unless you're hearing a replay, then it could be anytime. Not necessarily Friday morning, so check your calendar. But it is Friday morning, 9 a.m. Central. Bridging civil tension, where we feel it's better to build a bridge and leave it, because you never know when you'll have to cross over it. He's Phil Wallace, author, best-selling author, entrepreneur, award-winning author, entrepreneur, coach, mentor, just all-around good guy. And he, on this particular show today, are you choosing African-American or the white? Which would you like to be?
As much as I would love to choose the white guy. That would actually.
All right, folks. He's going to go with the African American today. All right. Might change the whole concept of the show. I don't know.
Mitch, oh my God, I get enough. My credit score's gone through the roof.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Right. Nice. Yeah. My insurance rates went down. Oh, and you're pre-approved for a loan. That's it. Oh, all right. Sorry.
Yeah. Go to another potluck. Yeah. Apparently, I'm bringing the Buffalo Ranch dip.
Yeah. Right. The 7-layer salad. Yeah. There you go. I'm Kent, of course. I am CFO. I am president. I am the founder of 21.6 The Net. Just a normal guy, but other than that, I play the Caucasian part. I will go with today.
Okay. Bold move, Cotton.
Yeah. And so this guy that you see right here, let's get a close up on him right there. This guy is Rudy, the Restoration One elf. He's been part of the show. He's going to be hanging around today. Restoration One, for all your mold, fire, all that good stuff, is great stuff. And anywho, the cool thing is that we are brought to you through the support of our good friends over at Gold Shield, plumbing, electric, all the, HVAC, you name it. Check them out at goldshieldtoday.com. So today, welcome in, and good to have you. Good Thanksgiving.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
Did you have macaroni and cheese?
Delicious macaroni and cheese.
That's the bad thing about being white.
What do you
No
do?
Macaroni and cheese at Thanksgiving.
I thought with the cheese,
Right.
it would go there, right?
You would think.
That's what you would.
You would think. No, we do things like coleslaw.
For those of you who don't know the inside joke, we've discussed that cheese is the fried chicken for white people.
It is.
So
it's terrible, right?
Make your white friends happy. Hey, Tom, by the way, do you like cheese? Oh my God. And then you guys list them.
Yeah. Well, good.
Homework for the weekend. Ask the question.
A little Parmesan.
Oh my God. Swiss.
That's right.
Pepper jack. Oh my God.
Oh yeah. Hey, listen, you look in my refrigerator. We got it. We got every kind.
Oh my God. A salad with good feta.
Oh, come on.
See?
But blue cheese, does blue cheese have a place anywhere?
Not with me.
Not
or
necessarily.
goat. I haven't.
Now, see, I haven't got into it. My son Spence loves the goat cheese. I haven't got into it either.
I try, because obviously at lunch in Crystal Lake, he was like, Phil, try this.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chad. I think I'll stick to.
Yeah, you got to try it on an apple.
I'll stick to these greens.
Mustard greens. There we go. Right? Yeah. All right. So when we were last together, we had talked about some
Brother Kyrie.
Yeah, our good friend Kyrie and a white teacher who said to his multiracial middle school class, right? And you sent me a clip of LeBron James in a post-game interview. So this is after the Lakers. I'm going to say lost. They're not very good this year.
Assuming,
but maybe they won. I don't know. And I'm a Laker guy, right? He said some really good things. I guess there is a picture. You tell the story.
So there's a picture of Jerry Jones from high school, and it seems as though him and some other of his peers are keeping the black high school students out of the high school.
Yeah.
So this is through, I believe, probably the 60s, I'm going to guess.
Yeah.
Right. And so this is the integration and ending of segregation. And so white students were trying to keep black students out of high school. That's where that was. And Jerry Jones is found to be in that crowd. So LeBron James goes through an entire press conference. And then people are about to leave. And he goes, I got one more question for you guys before we get out of here.
Now, not irate,
Very
like we're talking to each other right now. Very conversational, non-aggressive, just what I would say good energy.
Right. Good energy. And like you're saying, he's not irate. He's not mean. He wasn't even condescending. And he said, during the whole Kyrie, fiasco, every press conference, I had a question about that. Every press conference, I had a question about that. I have yet to been asked anything about the Jerry Jones incident.
Right.
Anything about that picture. He's like, it's kind of disheartening.
Now, which I go, well, I didn't hear anything. What are you talking about? I haven't heard anything about Jerry Jones. What happened?
And
case in point,
because
no further questions, Your Honor.
I rest my case. But he did say that it was on every news channel. It was on every sports channel. It was on every ticker. It was, you couldn't scroll on Facebook or any social media without seeing Kyrie, anti-Semitic.
Oh, all over, everywhere.
But what you're seeing is kind of what you're saying is like what Jerry Jones incident. I rarely heard it. He's like, why is it that we'll drag black athletes through the mud? But it doesn't seem like we can maintain that same energy for Jerry Jones.
Yeah.
We're not trying to push, we're not trying to expose, we're not trying to stop hate. Like we talked about, if we're gonna side with people we're gonna go against people who side with hate, why aren't we as critical towards a person who is probably yelling out racial slurs and trying to keep black people out of their school?
Amazing, right?
And to my surprise, LeBron is catching backlash for trying to be divisive, for highlighting the inconsistencies on how we attack certain athletes versus certain other people.
Yeah. So again, to recap, nothing said anywhere about a NFL owner,
What?
Man in power, owner, in a picture trying to keep black people out of school.
Right.
Who now this gentleman employs. Anyway. So I'm guessing we're fair across the line.
Right.
I'm guessing.
I would think so.
And not a word, not a peep, not a tweet, not a dink. It came out. I don't know what platform it came out on.
Right.
So obviously it was out there. Now, playing the part of the Caucasian today, I'm going to say, you know what, Phil? Back in the 60s, times were different. It's just the way things were. So, he's changed, obviously. Look at all of the athletes, African-American athletes that he's traded. I mean, employed. Okay.
Right.
So there you have it.
Right. But okay, so I don't see in other situations where that same grace is given, right? If you have certain jokes, and we've seen this, right, with in recent events where movies or songs had the F word in it, that was hateful towards the
Luke Skywalker,
right? Hateful towards the LGBTQ community. Now you're saying actors or comedians or whatever have to apologize or get it taken out or whatever because it says gay or the F word and it's derogatory to that group. And no one says, well, in the 90s,
okay,
everyone was saying that word.
So, and I'm going to irritate some people here, and by all means, comment whatever you want to do. We are in a democracy, right? A lot of people in America say this is a democracy. Democracy is basically what? Majority rule.
Right.
Okay. So with the LGBTQ community, do you know what percentage of the population belongs to the LGBTQ in America? 1%. Okay. African Americans bring up how much percentage of population?
I thought 30.
No, and it's less than that, I think. But it's right in that area. Okay. So as we take a look at a democracy, and again, I'm playing the part of the white, so just bear with me, folks. Not necessarily my feelings. I'm playing that side. I'm playing that side. Is why should we pander to the 1%? Why should we pander to the 20%? Why should we pander to those and change the way we do everything and what we say and our programming to the 1%, to the 30%? when there's 70% of us who say, hey.
Yeah, but I mean, if 70% of people are doing the wrong thing, though,
Thank you.
then doesn't
make it right
from a moral standpoint, right? And they'll talk about like the majority morality, right? If the majority of people think it's so cool, it's that mob mentality, right? I'm gonna go along with what majority people, but are you doing the right thing?
Yeah.
And just because people said it okay doesn't mean that it's right. Dick Gregory said that, right? Just because they said it's legal doesn't mean that it was good.
Right.
Slavery was legal doesn't mean you're doing a good thing.
Right.
So if we're afraid to cater to even the 1% or the 0.5% or whatever percent it is, but we're doing the right thing, being inclusive, being aware of people's emotions or history or whatever. I don't see why that's much of a debate.
No, I get it. I'm just saying there's
people who's going to say that.
Yeah, that's what it is. I think we've now let's flip the script. Tom Brady, touchdown Tom, the GOAT, says the exact things word for word that LeBron did. Exact word for word that LeBron did. Is he pinned as a divisive person?
No, but people are going to turn on him.
You think? Or do you think they go, oh, wait a minute. That's a good question.
I don't. I know that people like Tom, right? I know the 70%. I know the 70% likes. If it was Aaron Rodgers, you'd have a point. Yeah. I feel like Tom, though, there's a hierarchy.
Yeah. But a white guy, a well-liked white guy says, you know what, guys? You kind of
hierarchy, though. I like Tom, but this letter means the world to me.
Yeah.
This, whatever's ingrained, means the world to me. This means the world to me. So sorry, Tom, but we can't have or we get held the same accountability as them. And you're doing too much right now, Tom.
Yeah.
You were good.
Yeah. Thanks, buddy.
You're one of us, but you're trying to make us have to be accountable, and we don't like that. So
now we're going to keep you out of the Hall of Fame.
I'm just saying,
right? So yeah, that's the frustrating thing. Now, Google this. It's out on Instagram. It's out there. Google what LeBron said and watch. And I'm going to tell people this. I have absolutely loved LeBron since day one. When he was in high school and ESPN was playing, I'm like, man, this kid, he's going to be something special. I admire LeBron, not for his killer instinct, because he certainly doesn't have it. I admire him for his brilliancy to take his wealth and use it for good, his ability to make more money outside of the sport, right? And the way that he addresses, it's not a demeaning way. It's not a vulgar way. It's like you and I right now are having a conversation. He's basically trying to build a bridge, and just says, "Listen." Somebody tries to interrupt him, and he says, "No, please don't say anything.
Calm. Hold on.
Right.
Hold on. And he's smiling. Hold on.
Right. Hold on. And he carries on his thought, and then he hesitates for a second to see if there's anything, and there's silence among the crowd.
Right.
And then he gets up and he walks away. Brilliant. Right. And if you're in there and you're the reporter and you're in there, and then I take it to you at whatever media outlet I'm at, not 216 The Net, we weren't there. Right. And I go, I don't know, dude, this is what he said. And I show you what I filmed. And then you go, well, he's being divisive, isn't he?
Right.
The arrogance. Start typing that up. And now I've got to make something out of it, right? When in fact, if again, let's say that it was Phil Jackson who said it. Okay, now Phil, he's always kind of walked that line, being the Zen master and calling people out when they needed to be called out, whether it's referees or press or whatever. Maybe it goes, that's.
Yeah, I don't think he would be called divisive.
No. They might go,
that's a good
question.
Pop.
Yeah, Pop does it? Absolutely not divisive. Not divisive, right? And then they're like, well, let's look into this a little bit more, and that's all that LeBron was saying. Again, we have preached that for a few years on this show.
Right.
If you're so passionate about this, how come not this? And that's what he said. Why haven't you asked me about this? Please, just ask me.
Right. And no one. But okay, so at the same time,
Cricket.
That was good. If you are a reporter in that crowd,
yeah,
and you're sitting here thinking, you're like, son of a gun, like I haven't been told to push the Jerry Jones thing like the Kyrie thing. I haven't been told that every time I interview an athlete to ask them their thoughts on Jerry, like I was Kyrie. Matter of fact, when I watch our station, I'm not seeing the Jerry thing like I saw the Kyrie, and not one. What's the come to terms plan for Jerry right now? What's the $500,000? What's the 6-step program that he's going through currently?
Is he going to lose his job as owner? Is the NFL going to step in because the NBA did with the Laker or the Clippers guy at one time, because he was kind of cuckoo, right?
I'm just waiting on the unpaid leave.
We're going to look into this.
All of a sudden, we're looking in. All of a sudden,
we're gonna.
What's the date for him to meet with the NAACP?
Well, and as we kind of said at the onset of the show, is okay. We're going to dive into this guy's books and let's see how fair contracts things were, because we know you obviously.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. So then you look at this wide receiver compared to that wide receiver. This running back compared to that running back. That quarterback versus.
Emmett was a good running back. I didn't like him because he took out Walter Payton's record. But anyway.
He's from Pensacola. I gotta like him.
He's a heck of a guy. Good runner. Right. So but yeah, I get it. And it's hush hush.
So let me ask you this.
Hush now. I'm going to shift gears a little bit on you.
Can I do one thing?
Right? Yeah.
Okay. So I just want to keep on this thought. What if we look back and I find out that I performed better, but your contract was higher, and it finds out consistent. Now, does that slave deal show that we did?
Well, there isn't. Remember, we had a whole show and we had a lot of people said it's not a slave deal. You signed a contract.
And when I'm sitting here, but I'm sitting here and I'm noticing that, man, you were making $10 more million a year for the 7 years that we worked together or played together.
Yeah.
Even though I was by far a more skilled athlete, and people might remember people bought my jersey, people don't know your name, but you made $10 million more per year. Because they look at
for them, how you love them Cowboys.
They look at like 5 or 10 million as like this for NFL players and athletes. But if you're sitting at your job and I was making 90 and you're making 40, you'd be pissed.
Yeah. Yeah, and I got a 2% raise. Cost of living. Along the same route, here, there was, and we don't talk politics here, but there was a certain dinner that a future presidential candidate had. And our good friend Ye was there, but also was like the sitting head of the KKK or something.
Mm-hmm.
Questioned about that. This candidate questioned about that, to which then the response and what went out on the news and dropped off quickly was, "Why, I had no idea."
He had no idea he was sitting with the head of it.
Yeah, that was the response. Well, I had no idea what he did.
How did he get to your ticket? You know what?
I said the same thing.
Can we switch? Can I play the role of the?
I am like, I want you to understand. I want you to understand this particular person. I will guarantee has a detail, a security detail.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I'm going to say. I will guarantee that everybody in that was vetted, questioned, and background checked.
Otherwise, you can't sit at the table.
Otherwise, you can't sit at that table.
They're not gonna let a random crazy man.
So what do you do? Well, I sell dishwashers.
I have a caterpillar farm. Like no one's gonna. You don't.
I'm like, okay, time out. And that was all that was said, and then the story disappeared. And the first thing that came across my mind is like, who's buying that? You don't get close to this person.
People buy it.
You don't get close to this person.
People buy it.
And this was probably a fundraising dinner where it was $75,000 a plate or something. So right? I mean, this was it's not. Hey man, you want to go grab a quick sandwich over at Chick-fil-A?
No, this is a presidential event.
This was a future presidential candidate who has a detail. Yeah, Christine, thanks. You like this? Look at that is Rudy. Rudy is hanging out. He did a little dancing at the beginning of the show. Rudy, the Restoration One elf, just hanging out, being on air. He's a big camera whore. That's what he is. He's just here sucking up the camera. But we absolutely love Rudy. We love Restoration One. You'll see it pop up here behind me. Fire, mold, water, all that good stuff. You need to be your house restored. If you need to clean the scene, call Christine.
Oh,
you know what I'm talking about. That's it. There you go. Yes, absolutely. So, you understand what I'm saying? We have driven Kyrie and made him a worldwide hater. And I have a fancy dinner, and the leader, the sitting dragon, I don't know if it's I think that's what they're called, sitting here with me right here, and we're having conversation, and you're like, hey, here's what I need you to do, if that's okay. And then when it was like, oh, by the way, that was the head of the Triple K. And I go, what? I had no idea.
That's the nicest guy.
And that's all that's it.
So
I maybe thought so because he would only eat his mashed potatoes.
All right. So there's a movie.
When they asked how he wanted his steak, he said white. I don't know what that meant.
I got one for this. So there's a movie, The Black Klansman, right? Have you seen the movie Black Klansman? Yeah. Black dude infiltrates the KKK. He was a cop in Colorado Springs. And got in over the phone, blah, blah, blah. And as the case goes, for those who haven't read the story or seen the book or seen the movie or read the book, as they start to figure out that they're KKK members and political parties and government, positions, they make sure they stop searching or investigating anything else. Hey, you've done enough. Cut it. So my question is, how did the leader of the KKK get into the room? And at some point, when you hear that this is the dragon, and the waiter comes up and goes, the usual.
Yeah.
He's been here for a while.
Hey, Jerry.
Good to see you again. How are the kids? Yeah. Oh my God, they're 18 already. I remember they were so he's been in this seat for a long time.
Oh. Still take your steak white?
Huh?
That's a really good
one. Let me guess. You want the black eye?
Hey.
Cauliflower it is. But
that's right.
That doesn't raise alarm that our political people are having dinners with KKK members that we act like they don't exist anymore?
It should. But again, a lot of good America, a lot of bad America is driven by what they see on the sound bites and the tickers on media, right? So when it drops off quickly on the media, both sides, right? Because there's one station that likes this and there's one station that likes that, but when both sides go, whoop,
who owns the station?
Yep, we'll just brush that underneath and move along. Hey, there was a jackknife rig out on I-95. You know what I mean? It's who owns the station? Yeah. And if that's not alarming, it should be. It should be. Now, that's just not being racist. That is a hate group. That has already been, and what we said earlier this year, that group was flagged as a internal terrorist or something, domestic terrorist. It was a group.
Right. Pass the salt, Tom. What?
I see that there's no pepper on the table.
Yeah, all the pepper was removed.
Yeah,
Alan's got allergies.
Yeah.
Anything black, just.
And we joke about this, and the truth is, we're not trying to spread hate. I don't want to do that, but I do want people to start questioning, going, well, that's interesting. Why we take this athlete, make him into a martyr and push a certain agenda, and yet I don't. Well, there was a dinner last night, and the dragon sat with the.
You don't hear about it.
You don't.
I didn't hear anything about this.
We'll just brush that right underneath there, and we're good to go. So,
Kyrie's going to be hated by some people for the rest of his life for something that he was accused of that I don't feel that he did.
Now, okay, let's play devil's advocate for a minute.
All right.
Let's say that said candidate really had no idea because he didn't vet the people. Somebody in his team did.
All right.
Okay.
Let's play.
Let's play that. We still didn't hear about that person getting fired
at all,
having to go through a 6-step process.
At all.
I had to do anything.
No.
What we heard was, well, there's a jackknife for out on I-95. Next up, the weather.
This is what Kanye did.
Yeah, right. So quickly shifting and moving. So let's now the other thing that we didn't hear. Okay, so for those of you who's like, maybe he didn't know, he doesn't vet that, and they just paid a lot of money to sit down, and fair enough. But that same person, presidential candidate, didn't say anything either. The answer was, I didn't know that. Next question. That person didn't say, listen, this person is fired who did that. I had no idea. I've taken that money. I've given it to the poor people. All the money from that table I've given to, underprivileged neighborhoods of minorities. That person not only were they fired, but they are going through this, and this, and here they are. Say you're sorry. Right? We did not hear that.
These are the type of dinners where conversations are had of, hey, Kent, from now on, you vote this way. And this multi-million-dollar check is going to help push you in that direction. They sat this future presidential candidate next to the head dragon where these types of conversations take place. And he pretended to not know. Everybody knows the conversations in these dinners, bro.
Now, let's be as frank as we can. I don't normally do impressions, but let's be as frank as we can. This particular candidate knows people all around the world. Right? Good, bad, ugly.
Right. Yeah.
That's fair to say. Has sat with heads of nations. And you go, really? Had no idea. All right. So with that, people, seriously, you start asking questions. Start going, wait a minute, this isn't right. Okay. And at that point, a certain party would have to say, you know what? We're taking your card. No. We're taking it. Bye-bye. We haven't seen that either.
You're not going to.
We haven't seen that either, right? Or another candidate that might be of the same party that might be going up against that, demanding the same thing. Like, hey, really?
I feel like
these are backroom people. You don't bring them to the table, right?
This is the locker room. I'm introducing you to your teammates. So you're not gonna say I'm not teammates with him no more. Look, if you want to play here, you do.
That's right.
That's your teammate.
That's not your teammate. So very scary.
He may not score 30, but he sets the screens for you behind the scenes. Every pick and roll, that's him.
Very scary.
That's how you get open.
And the fact that it isn't major headlines, the fact that there isn't any action does tell you a little bit about what's wrong here in America.
Which is why LeBron said, why don't we see the same energy criticizing and condemning some athletes or people like we do for other ones? We're so quick to drag some through the mud. For other ones, we make excuses. The times were different. This, that, and the third. No, hate is hate, bro. Like, remember, we were against hate 2 weeks ago, strongly. Any form of hate. Remember, all of them said any form of hate.
Yeah.
Any, not depending on the times, not depending on the group size, not depending on what the mob thinks. Any form of hate, we stand against it. All right, well, stand.
And just so you know how twisted the United States may be on a political end, and we don't talk politics. That's why we're not saying anything other than the word politic.
Right.
Is even their opponent didn't run this up the flagpole. You know what I'm saying? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, you would think.
Right. Hey, we got him on the ropes.
We got it. Yeah. Oh.
Now, if I know a secret about you, but you know a secret about me, if I only know a secret about you, I could be like, hey, I got this.
And now you've heard of the railroad. The railroad was going to go on strike. You've heard that. Interesting timing with that story. That it was so important to throw that out there to distract people, so that either side didn't have to talk about that dinner.
So that, what type of secret do you have on me that I can't use this one on you?
Well,
that's my question.
Or is it the same secret?
Hey, buddy, you partied with us.
They unpixelated your face from this one.
Did you see that on
on
Netflix?
Yeah,
where they're like, this is a picture of you with your hand around this woman that you claim to have never met.
Or no.
I don't know her. I don't know. She even knows that you sweat profusely. Like Austin Powers. That's not mine, baby.
I swear, it's not my bag.
One book.
Yeah. Now there is a lot when we talk about bridging civil tension. There is a lot that if you notice now, a lot of videos out there used on social media have the words underneath, closed captions, whether you want it or not. And those closed captions don't always match the words. Have you noticed that? Start watching.
Okay.
Because you believe more of what you see than what you hear.
Right.
Okay. So if you start watching some not all the time, but you'll see that, and even on TV shows, I'm seeing it's like, oh, well, that's not what they just said.
Right.
So it is. Now, what's your senses and the way we learn, you heard something but saw something, and that's what your mind goes, wait a minute. So very interesting how that happens. And because we may be building a bridge over nothing, right?
Right.
To make people feel good that we're bridging something. And you're like, wait, you literally just put this bridge in my yard. I could walk through there's no.
Asking questions.
Yeah. So there's a lot out there, and if you watch a good sheepdog herd sheep, these dogs run around and bark. and the sheep just like, man, this is a crazy ass dog. I just want to get away from it. Well, where's Phil going? Let me follow Phil.
Right? He knows the way.
He knows the way. He doesn't know. He just wants to get away from it. And I think that's in the United States. That's where we are. People, I would rather run away from than try to build a bridge. And building a bridge means having that question, having that conversation. No, wait a minute. I don't want to defend somebody I don't know.
Right.
And that's why I bring up a lot of times, well, times were different. Well, times were different, but your core might not. Your core might be the same.
Right.
Your core values as a person may never have changed. And now you've become a multi-billionaire off of
the same people you didn't want at your school.
Your plantation is doing really well.
Now you like us.
Right? And I'm not trying to play the victim. I'm not trying to create a victim mentality out there. What I'm trying to do is say, at some point, you got to go, I just need to stop hitting my head against this brick wall. Well, why are you doing it? Well, it feels good when I stop. And in America, that's a lot of we do things because of our feelings. Nobody really understands the way that politics works unless you've been in politics, and what makes the world tick unless you've been around the people that make the world tick.
Right.
However, when we look at another fellow human being as less than a fellow human being, that's tough. It's tough. So and let me give you an example. Sunday, I drove over to Janesville, Wisconsin. And I have a buddy who is incarcerated. Okay. I don't agree with the choices he made to get himself incarcerated. And I'm not going to go into that story, but here's the story that I'm going to tell you. Is he needs he's got some kidney issues, and he needs to prescription medicine, and you can't deliver prescribed medicine to the prison. So he's incarcerated in Wisconsin, but he lives down in Austin, Texas.
Okay.
Right. So he used to live here and he moved down. So anyway, nobody around. He's got no support. And I've known this guy for years, 26, 27 years. So he asked, this is, hey, would you mind if I had, had my significant other, get my prescription, send it to you, and could you? I will do that for you.
Yeah.
Right. So I do. I run over to Janesville, about an hour away, on Sunday, and you roll up to Rock County Prison, and it's not a pretty looking place. I mean, it is Andy Dufresne type prison. I mean, it's not. It doesn't look good.
Right.
And I grabbed I haven't opened the package that was sent to me because I don't know if they're trying to smuggle in cocaine or whatever. I don't want anything, you know what I'm saying? I'm not going to open this. So I go in, I show them my ID, hear this, and I'm there, and there's some families there. No, they don't do because of COVID and whatnot. They the jail does video, so it's not a window between us anymore. They're someplace else. So there's a couple of families there talking to whoever's in there. You can look on TV like, oh. But I'm sitting there and I'm in the secured area, and the guy behind the glass and the phone and all this stuff. And down the hallway walk 3 inmates. Now they've got white jumpsuits on with orange Crocs. No, look, they got Crocs there.
Accent color.
And I got a real bad feeling. Now I have no idea what these people are in for.
Counterfeiting.
Could be.
Embezzlement.
It could be.
Money laundering.
Could be. It may not be any brutal type thing. Maybe they just have unpaid tickets. I don't know. But my anxiety went, whoa. Now I was safe. But these three folks walked by. Now they could be murderers. I have no idea. Right? I don't know.
Right.
They look at me, I look at them as they walk by in the hall. I'm free, they're not. And I go, I got scared. And what did I have to be scared about? Nothing. There was no way. There was no way. There may not even be harmful people. They just might be stupid.
Right.
My buddy is stupid. Right? It's just stupid. Bad decisions.
Right.
Why do we do that with certain people and we don't do it with all people? So again, this particular candidate was sitting with a very vicious individual, a known terrorist, or a person involved with a known domestic terrorist group.
But I feel like, remember when we did the show and we were talking about, what's the most violent dog? And most people would have said like a pit bull or Rottweiler, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. I feel like if one of those bites you, we got to put it down. It's just in its nature, blah, 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 instantly, blah, blah, blah. But if a golden retriever, it's like, he just had a bad day or you scared him. This is the number one culprit anyway.
Right.
This is the actual one you should be afraid of. You've been told to be fearful of them. That's and right. If they do anything that coincides with your preconceived notion about them, we'll put them down, be done with them. This one has the most violent history, and you keep making excuses for it.
Yeah.
And all the times were different. Do you know it was okay during that time?
Right.
Public lynchings where kids got out of school, from elementary school. So Elijah gets to skip second grade. Hey, not movie day. We got something even better. And your second grader goes into the middle of downtown. That's what those times were.
Yeah.
You're cool with that?
It's hard. And I've thought about that. And I'm like, really, those people, I was scared because of the position that they're in. Right. And not of them. I don't even know them. I don't know their names. They could be really good people, just made a couple of dumb decisions. Yeah. Right. And yet a lot of Americans we know, or we say we know, because they're in the media, they're in the public eye, and those people don't scare us. Yet at dinner,
you're sitting next to,
right, and it's not a listen, I need to talk to you so we don't have a nuclear war and end the world. This was, I need money for an ad to make somebody look bad.
Right. So I'm going to have,
and then to go, you're kidding.
But look, though,
I thought he was my latex salesman.
But if I wear a shirt with a teddy bear, I'm associated with the Crips.
The Teddy Crips.
But if you sit next to the Klan member, I can't say you look like that's your gang member.
Right.
That's mean.
That's divisive.
I could go to jail for who I look like I associate with.
Very divisive.
You go to the White House based on what you look like you associate with. That. How does that make sense? How will you clutch your purse when I walk by because of a teddy bear t-shirt, but we welcome you with open arms everywhere and you're sitting next to the KKK?
So I had a conversation with somebody who follows the show. And they're like, listen, Deke, do you know that the Confederacy was only for 5 years? 5 years. President Obama ran the United States for 8. And I'm like, okay.
It's going to be good.
Right? So I'm like, okay, so where you going? Power. They only had power in the South for 5 years. I'm whoa.
Huh? Come back at 9 p.m. for more trailer talk.
What? That's what they said. And I was like, huh? Well, you had an African American, the most powerful man in the free world, for 8 years. Everybody's burnt on this Confederate flag. It was only 5 years.
Well, the people burnt were slaves because you guys were racist. And thousands of killings were done in the Confederate name in that 5 years. What's your
so all I said was this. Okay, I appreciate the alley that you're trying to go down.
How?
Can you tell me which 5 years that was? Oh, it was back in the before the Civil War. Okay, it's back back in the 1800s. Yeah. Okay, can you tell me which 8 years the African American was the most powerful man in the free world? Yeah, 20, 10, whatever. I forget. Whenever Obama was in, right? And I said, okay, can I still drive down into Confederate land and see that flag and feel the
Tension.
the tension? Wow. I go, so then it was more than 5 years. Would we agree? And that's all that I said.
He tried it. I've never heard of a lynching and someone yells out, Obama. Obama's gonna rise again.
Right?
No one says that.
So
but
right now again, before this show, I to me the if I saw the Confederate flag, it was General Lee. I mean, it was what it was. I didn't understand what it was. After this show, as I travel to the South and I see companies still, and it's a bigger flag than the United States flag. Now you start going, oh, this is interesting.
Hold on, you said that flag a lot of times is larger than the American flag that those companies will have.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's
like a corporation where the Confederate flag is larger than the American flag,
right?
But but
it was only 5 years.
Any sign of
hate.
It was only we are really against any form of hate.
But it was only 5 years.
This company that we buy our
back
stuff
in the 1800s
from waves in a Confederate flag that's larger than the. Oh, that's my other. We can't be anti-patriotic.
No,
it's got to be. So how is this one larger than?
And you've seen it too, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Out there, right? And so a lot of times when we're building a bridge and we're trying to have conversations with people, they'll grab a soundbite, they'll grab something and say, "Hey, look at this." Okay, so let's meet in the middle. Let's talk about this. And I appreciate what you're saying or what you're trying to convey.
All right.
However, give me those 5 years, but it's still happening, right? It's still happening now. Over in Iran, I want to say, and I'm not very good with geography, so there was a guy that we found in a hole in the middle of a desert, right? And we tore the people of Iran tore down that statue. They didn't forget history, but they tore down the big statue of this person they found in a hole because of what it symbolized.
What?
Right, but they didn't say you're taking away history.
Wait, you mean the savages did that?
Yeah,
the savages had enough moral. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, and so now when that happens and we want to pick a fight instead of build a bridge. You're erasing history. No, not so much. Not so much. There are Christians, strong Christians, who don't like the crucifix because they say he hung on the cross once. He shouldn't be up there anymore.
Right.
And so they will fight against Catholics and people who show, right? It's that symbolism. And I think we are so desperate to get in a fight to try to prove something that perhaps, if I can say this, many of us don't understand. Right? To me, it was the Civil War. To that family or those families, it was oppression. It was brutality. It was yuck.
Right.
But and we don't do a lot of understanding anymore. When I grew up, you would go to the encyclopedia, you would get the Encyclopedia Britannica, and you would say, that's it.
Right.
That's it. What's in there is right. Now, we have no idea who wrote that stuff down.
None.
But we would say, It was here on page 35. It's, here's my index card that says where I got it from. And we say, man, that's great. Now it's out on the internet. We go, yeah, now it's here on the internet. This meme came up, so this is right. I'm gonna.
When you're talking about the Confederate flag part, right?
Yeah.
I was asking a friend of mine up here about it because he said something similar.
Yeah.
And I said, as a Northern Illinois person, because he's talking about, well, don't erase history. I said, how often do you think about the Confederate flag? Like growing up, how often did that cross your mind?
Every Friday on the Dukes of Hazzard.
Because you don't want, like, he's kind of too young for Dukes of Hazzard. Okay. So how often do you think? And I was like, because as a person coming up in the South, as an African American who grew up in the South, and you see it all the time, it's constantly that reminder of what's around. And how we talked about over, in the Nile, there's things that they have to worry about that we don't have to worry about in the Fox River.
Yeah.
Right. So, well, if you're saying, if I'm telling you, if you're saying, oh no, this is a journey, I'm like, no, Kent, these are lion paw prints. You may not see the lion, but this is tracks that he's close by. These horrible people that burn people, this is their paw print.
Yeah, there it is.
Hatred is not far behind from this. Every time you see hate, I've told you this, that flag is not far behind.
Right.
Why is it? Well, no, Phil, trust me. It's history.
It's history. Sal, SG3, one of the hosts of the Reject Rundown, an absolutely great show that airs here at the Net on Sunday evenings. SG3, Sal says, you mean to tell me that getting rid of a statue that showed oppression, wrongdoing, and showed brutality to another human is wrong? Wow, the more you know. Well, and that's but
depends on whose statue.
Well, a lot of the irritation, I think, comes from lack of knowledge.
Right.
Okay. Now, again, I asked people when it said, and I maybe took the wrong vantage point of it, but I would say, when was the last time you took your family on a vacation and stopped at every statue along the way to read what it said? And the answer is never. You just didn't. Right? If you did, weird. Anyway. Right. Boy, that sounds like a winner. Hey, where we go? All right, kids, off to the next one.
Surprise for you.
So a lot of it is not understanding what it is that we're truly talking about, not understanding, not wanting to go deeper than the surface. Right. Oh, well, this was just a great general for the South. Let's take a look at pre-war. Let's take a look at post-war. Yeah. Let's take a look at, right?
But
and let's take a look at what they fought for.
How you said, democracy is majority, right?
Yeah.
I feel like if I have a stance on the statue situation, let's say that I was playing the role of the Caucasian, right? And I was like, all right, well, this is how this guy is. Well, let me ask a Black, let me ask a Native American, let me ask an Asian, let me ask an Indian, let me ask, to see, hey, because I heard from this one that it means bad. What do you guys think? And if I'm finding a consensus that the dude was a jerk and you should probably not rock with him. If I'm still defending this, it's only because it's comfortable for me.
No.
And I don't really care how you guys feel.
Right.
Now I'm going to dress it up however I need to dress it up so you guys don't push the issue. Oh, you're erasing my history. I haven't heard you talk about history since I've known you. We've been friends since the 3rd grade. You've literally never brought up history other than defending racist statues.
Yeah.
How many of your friends, or not just your friends, but
that's
you'll never hear them. Oh my God, I was just doing some research on this history novel that I was reading the other day. And wouldn't you come to find out you've never brought up history?
No.
However, when it comes to erasing racist statues, now all of a sudden you're a history buff. Now you'd be hurt, torn, and wouldn't know how to piece together your life.
Right.
If this racist Confederate slave master statue gets taken down. Now, if that crumbles your history, you probably should assess your history.
Yeah,
if your life is distraught at the removal of racist.
Let me bring it to even closer to those of you who may not understand. Let's say that your grandmother passes away, and she gave a memorial to the church, and this particular pew is the Grandma Wallace pew.
Probably.
And it's got a nice little gold plate that is engraved that says this is in memory of Grandma Wallace.
I think 3 for 3 you're gonna
have that. Okay. Okay. Now the church does a remodel,
right.
and they move away from pews and go to chairs.
Okay.
What does the family say? You're going to have to leave that because that's my that you're erasing history. My grandma gave you $100 in her will for that pew.
If my grandma's a serial killer, you should probably get that out of the church.
Maybe.
It's probably in poor taste for it to be placed here. Right. And so I would understand.
Right.
This is the Jeffrey Dahmer pew, and it's been a staple of our church. No, he stapled people. He should
How do you like your steak? White.
Right.
Well, yeah, he would take it. Yeah. Anyway. But so for the people who don't understand about that oppression and things like that, it's the same thing that you say, this reminds me of my grandma's faith. Okay, this pew, it's just a pew. You can't take it out of here because this reminds me of my grandma's faith. Well, this statue doesn't remind you of the Civil War. You could have a little plaque on a stone that says, "Here was the Battle of whatever."
I promise you, in the South, there's too many souvenir shops. You can find something else,
right? Yet, when we say we got to get rid of this pew because we're making changes, things have changed, and what this pew stands for is not it stands for this. Why not? You know what? You're right. You know what? You're absolutely right. Let's get rid of that. But there's so many, you know.
If the people of the church, like, to be honest with you, Phil, she may have made the meanest cookies that you ever had and best pancakes, but
right.
she cussed a lot of people out here at this church, and she beat old ladies up. Then I'd be like, you know what? Sorry, Nana.
Hey,
Mimi, your pew's got to go.
So the whole idea of things and as we kind of wrap it up is to go back to what LeBron said again. LeBron's not being divisive. LeBron is asking a question for clarity. Now, if he was being divisive, he would be doing weird things, I think, on social media and really trying to push an agenda. But he's got a platform. And that's what he said. I have a platform and I have the ability to bring this up, and I'm going to bring it up. Is not one of you have asked me a question about this picture with Jerry Jones in it and segregation. Not one of you have brought this up to me. Not one of you has asked me how I feel. Yet when Kyrie did something, it was, how do you feel about this? Do you agree? So the divisive person is not LeBron in this point. The divisive people are the media trying to create something or hide something.
Do you remember what we had to say about LeBron when the Kyrie thing happened? They were teammates, and they made him make a statement against his teammate, who was his brother. Yeah. So if you make me make a statement against Kyrie, because any form of hatred we stand against, and if he's going to be that, then he's got no. I had to say that against Kent Jones.
Yeah.
And I love that dude. He made me say that. Now this dude over here, and it's not the same energy. I publicly dragged my brother through the dirt for you guys.
I don't hear again. I don't hear his peers, any other owners saying,
I'm waiting for the sit down, the 6-step program, the whatever, and it's not
there.
And if you ask questions about the inconsistencies of hatred or how we treat people, then they label you as divisive or crazy or whatever else they can do.
So to me, the way I'll wrap this up, to me is this week, I think LeBron is the biggest bridge builder. He did it very eloquently. He did it without trying to demean anybody. All he did was bring up a point and say, hey, now he's got every reason to be snarky, to have a bad attitude, to have a crappy season going right now, right? He's got every reason to jump down their throat. But basically, I mean, he had showered, he was well presented, very relaxed after this, and just in this tone that I'm talking to you is how he addressed the media.
They couldn't label him the angry black guy. So
no,
they had to come with a different approach.
They had to, yeah. Whoops.
He's asking questions.
Well, that's being angry back. No, he wasn't. Look at how calm he is.
He's actually quite calm. He's
eloquent. I mean, it was nice. Look it up and give us your feel. Would love to hear it. But this is what bridging civil tension is all about. There's so many good people doing so many good things that so many people are trying to destroy today. Okay, and there's so many bad people doing bad things that doesn't get the attention that it probably should. That it's just not fair, and that's and we have to start looking at that and saying, right? Metallica has the song "For Whom the Bell Tolls." You can hear the silence so loud,
right?
You can hear it so loud, and if you're not paying attention, again, with that came out, that particular candidate, that party should pull the card.
I just don't
pull the card.
I just don't see how you can find everyone in a gang, but not anyone in a clan.
Right.
You found everyone in this Atlanta gang, but you're sitting at the table and don't know anyone in this global clan. Got it.
And with that, folks,
is loud.
Yep, the silence is deafening. All right, for all of us here at 2169, thanks for getting caught on the bridge. Thanks for getting stuck in the net with us. Remember, until we meet again, be good, but more importantly, be good to one another.
Love you guys.